Okay, and welcome back to another episode of Workout from Home, episode 1, season 3. You're joining with me today, Mission, and today I'm going to share with you probably some very basic stuff, but we often overlook. Is known as nutrition, right? So you probably hear it everywhere. You will hear some people tell you this food is good, that food is not good, how much calories should I eat. So I will do my best to, throughout this whole entire episode, and just share with you what things we should take care, what things we can put aside and don't care too much, right? So for example, you hear people say, oh, I cannot eat after 8, eat after 8, you're going to gain a lot of weight. Or don't eat, when you wake up, do fasted. That's the best way to lose fat. So I'm going to share with you from time to time. Now, before I start anything, I want to do a disclaimer. I am not a nutritionist. I'm not a dietitian. But I do know a thing or two on how to help you if your goal is to lose weight, or on the flip side is to gain muscle, right? Let's say you're very skinny, you want to put some weight. There is a way, alright? But we'll talk about that. Now, today I'll focus more on the fat loss aspect. As for the muscle gain, I'll do it maybe later of today's episode, right? So here is the deal. So if you want to understand how, what food should you eat, or what food you want to avoid, all this stuff, we take a step back. We go back to the basics, okay? So what causes someone to lose weight or gain weight? Well, the simple thing if you want to know is known as, it's called a calorie. So what is a calorie? Technically, calorie is a unit, or is a unit of measurement base they use to measure energy. So for example, if the food is 200 calories, then the food is 200 calories, right? Actually, it's like 200,000. K stands for 1,000 and then calorie. But of course, there's will be a lot of zero behind, so they use kcal. K stands for 1,000. Cal stands for calories. Okay, now why you need to understand this basic thing first. So number one, you need to understand calories, right? So calories in, calories out. Now I will say it in a very simple term so you guys can understand, alright? The great thing about nutrition, you don't need to be a PhD or master's to do it. You don't even need a high IQ. All you need is just a bit of common sense and some application. You should be able to get a fair good amount of results. Now these results are all these cue and techniques is not created by me. It's actually it's a proven fact. There's evidence. People who use this understanding these principles, and they set not themselves but also to their client a lot of success. So you just tune it in. So I'm going to share with you the first thing that you need to know: what dictates weight loss or weight gain. Number one is calories. Now you think about it. Simply put it this way: most people, when you hear the first part, you're like, but when I ask you later, then you have a different opinion. Now, when you are trying, let's say if your goal is to lose weight, you need to do what? A, reduce your calorie, or B, increase your calorie. So I repeat again here. If your goal is to lose weight, should you A, increase your calorie, or B, reduce your calorie? So if the answer is reducing calorie, you're on the right track. Because let's say this is your weight is, I just use a number, easier for everyone to understand. Let's say you're 100 kilo. You need to go down, if you want to go down to 80 kilo or 90 kilo for instance, what you need to do? You need to reduce your calories. So meaning, this thing of reducing calorie, this process is called caloric deficit. Now, to be on a caloric deficit, meaning reduce your calories, there is two ways to go about it. The first way is to what I call burn the calories, aka exercising / doing a lot of movement, right? So for example, you work out from home, or you work out at the gym, you're walking, you're fidgeting your fingers. These are examples of moving. So by moving, you will burn calories. This is method number one. Method number two is to be on a caloric deficit via your food consumption. Now, when I always tell people to reduce their calories of their food, the first thing people will go is they will eat salad only, don't eat oily food, eat clean, whatever that meaning means for the entire X period of time. If you do like this, you won't go very far. Why? Because you will burn out very fast, and and then you have all the weird cravings, and then you will keep on going back to what I call going back to the same cycle. You're spinning the same wheel over and over again. So when we say reduce calories in terms of food, we don't think about reducing your food volume. Think about instead how you can reduce your calories while maintaining a food volume. Sounds confusing? Allow me to share you a sample, then maybe you can understand. For example, if you eat white rice versus fried rice, chances are if you eat white rice, by default you will eat lesser calories than a plate of fried rice, right? Why? Because fried rice has oil, there's fried, they put other stuff, so there's a lot of calories added. So you need to understand there's two ways to reduce calorie. Now, the first way is to move a lot, second is to eat lesser calorie. Not eating less, yeah? Eating lesser calorie. Do you need to eat less in the long run? Probably, but you should not start there, right? So, if you want to lose weight, like I said, maybe I throw the question to you, it's easier for you. Which one do you think is easier for you? To burn 200 calories of running, or to eat lesser 200 calories of food? Now, if you think about it, most of you are going to answer probably eating lesser 200 calories of food is an easier option. Now, in case you don't know, if just average, if you need to burn 200 calories on the, let's say, treadmill, on the running machine, you guys call it, that is a lot of, you're going to run, I think like half an hour or 45 minutes. Keyword running, not walking, not jogging. It's like quite a running pace for 30 to 45 minutes. Now, for some people, that's going to be very overwhelming. That is why we would recommend, if your goal is for weight loss, you want to do a combination of both. Instead of being so dreadful on the treadmill or eating so less on the food, why not do the best of both worlds? Reduce your calories via food consumption, the food choices that you make, and then at the same time, you occasionally make yourself active by doing some cardio, doing some weight training, work out from home, whichever that you prefer. So that will be a better way to see a long-term result. Now, all these 101s that I'm about to share with you actually is very plain simple. Unfortunately, it's also quite a long process, or should I say, it's not as fast as you think, right? You think about it, whatever got you today, that wanted you to lose the weight, it did not happen last month, it did not happen last year. Probably we're talking about years of accumulation, maybe 5 years, 10 years if you're watching this video. So what you want to do is you need to understand that whatever took you for the last 5-10 years, don't expect 3 months to see results. Even if you can, I can assure you it is not sustainable. Now, if it's not sustainable, what does this mean? If it's not sustainable, once you let go that quote-unquote diet, you are going to regain back all the weight you lost. If not, even worse, you're going to become way more weight than what you were before. Not after the diet, like before. That means before, after, your after is worse than the before. There is a lot of cases like this. This phenomena is called a weight rebound. So to prevent that, you want to find something that is very sustainable for you. Okay? And the next one we also talk about is calories, which I told you already. So if your goal is on a weight loss, you want to reduce your calorie. Now, how do you reduce your calorie? I've already said just now, you need to move, do an exercise, work out, and number 2 is to reduce your food consumption. Now, probably some of you have been saying, oh, you know, I've been eating 1,200 calories every day. Really? Seriously? You can lie to me. It's perfectly fine. Right now, I'm not saying you are immoral or what, but you think about it. Does 1,200 calories applicable on your weekends? Do you have a cheat meal? Do you have days where you overshoot? If you think you eat 1,200 calories, I also don't know why people keep saying 1,200. Apparently 1,200 is like a very common number. If you're eating 1,200 calories and you still cannot lose weight, then by default, you are not eating 1,200 calories. You may think you may think you are eating 1,200 calories. Perhaps in the real reality, maybe you're eating 1,008, sometimes 2,000, sometimes maybe 1,500. So that is a lot of variables that we're talking about here. So you need to understand, if you want to be on a weight loss, there's one word, is caloric deficit, right? I don't want to touch whether 1,200 is very low or not. Short answer for me is yes, but that is not the goal today. So I'm just letting you the basics first. If you don't do the basics, you cannot talk about whatever the next step you're going to do. So understand calories. This phenomenon is called calories in, calories out. Meaning, if you put calories in means you eat the food, calories in. You go and work out, or the next meal you eat lesser, that is calorie out. So you need a combination of both. Not you need, it's better to have a combination of both so that you may see better results. Okay? Now that we talk about calories, right? So understand, when calories is important because, like I said, calorie is what determines whether you're gaining weight or losing weight. And when you understand the calorie rule, this is where the magic happens. So for example, I asked, just to give you an example, it turns out for most people, if you eat a certain, you eat one day, let's say you eat 1,200 calories, for example, yeah? Maybe I don't use 1,200, it's just so unhealthy. I will use 2,000, it's a safer bet. Let's say you are eating 2,000 calories. If you are eating 2,000 calories, right? If you eat 1,000 in the morning, and you eat another 1,000 at night, calories at night, what is it going to happen? Are you going to gain weight? Are you going to lose weight? Or are you going to maintain your weight? The answer is, you will be maintaining your weight. Why? Because let's say if your maintenance calorie is 2,000, if you eat 1,000 in the morning, you eat 1,000 at the night, the end of the day is still 2,000. Think about like a debit card. You have 2,000 in the debit card. You swipe in the morning 1,000, you still have another 1,000 in the evening. So it's the same idea. So what you want to do is, you want to understand, when you understand how calorie work, so don't worry about next time, like if I overeat, if I eat at night, I will gain fat. If you say like this, that is incorrect, because you are actually defying the law of the calories in, calories out. For example, if you overeat, let's example, use 2,000 again. Say you eat 500 in the morning. Guess how much you can eat at night? 1,500, right? It's simple math like this. So if you switch, if you're eating 1,500 at night, does this mean you will get fatter? No, because for that case, this person has 2,000 calories as their maintenance. So you have to understand that when calories are equated, it doesn't matter what time of the day, turns out it's the same amount of calorie, right? So next, if it's true, now just give a very weird scenario. So now we understand that the timing, what time you eat doesn't really matter. With that being said, of course, keep in moderation. Don't go and stuff everything at 11:59 PM and don't go and stuff everything at 12:01 AM, right? So when the calorie, when you're within the range, I always talk to my client, we call it the calorie bank, because like bank, the money in the bank. Right? So if you have 2,000, right? When you eat, when you want to try to, let's say if you want to reduce your calorie, you want to lose weight, you need to be on caloric deficit. So what does this mean? If you are able to find out you are eating 2,000 calories, all you have to do is the following day, just eat 1,800 calories, then by default, you will lose weight, right? Again, it sounds very simple, but most people often overlook, okay? They will blame all funny things like timing, hormones, insulin, what you name it, genetics. Now those are legit reasons, but it's not the main reason. It's actually like 4-5% at most the reason. So you have to understand, when you understand how calories work, this is going to help you a lot. So for example, you probably see some guys will tell you, do this meal replacement program, you're going to lose weight. So what is the magic? Is the magic a real meal replacement, or is it the caloric deficit? I can assure you, the key answer is actually the caloric deficit. Let's say if you eat 2,000 calories every day as your maintenance, suddenly when you join this meal replacement program, you are replacing one meal with the whatever say the shake that they're having. So when you're having the shake that they are having, it's usually lesser calorie than your original meal you're eating. So by default, when you join the meal replacement program, it does by reducing your calories. So the magic is not the supplement. The magic is it puts you on a caloric deficit without you realizing it. So you're going to hear someone on the internet, this is done now, so we break this myth already, right? For if this is true, by the way, if the meal replacement shake really works, then you, by right, you can eat anything you want and have the meal replacement and still not lose weight. Now, that is violating the rule of calorie. Let's say if you eat 2,000 calories in the entire month, right? The entire day, you eat 2,000 calories, right? And suddenly I add another meal replacement. Let's say the thing is 300 calories. So it puts you in the surplus of 2,300 calories. If you do that in the long term, you will gain weight because it's past your maintenance calories. Okay? So if the meal replacement that they claim has magic properties really work, by right, when you are eating 2,300 calories, you will still lose weight. And I challenge anyone that is selling all these products, if you can show me the person did not control their diet, they eat very irresponsible and drink the shake and still can lose weight, please show it to me. I would like to know how. Okay? So you need to understand, when you understand all these things, then you will not get fooled by is this supplement okay, or that program is good or what. The key is that is a calorie, we call it energy balance, the calories in, calories out rule. So if you understand this, you will go very far, right? Now, I know this is, how long have I been talking? I think, oh boy, I've been talking 20 minutes, right? But I hope you understand that this whole thing is about calorie, okay? So calorie is very important. When you understand how calorie works, then you will understand how to say, next time someone tell you, hey, I don't want to eat at night because I will gain weight extra more at night. No, you gain weight because you overeat your calories, regardless of the end of the day. Okay, you eat a salad in the morning, you eat a salad at the night, you don't gain weight, you gain weight. But you eat a donut in the morning, you don't gain weight. So you see, this is very illogical. So what you want to do is understand calorie energy balance, aka calorie in, calorie out. When you understand this whole rule, it will save you a lot of time. It's going to prevent you from a lot of fallacy. So next time someone say you a shake, you know what to do, right? What about internet? Someone will tell you, I'm doing fasting, it works for me. I'm doing vegetarian, it works for me. I've been doing ketogenic diet, it works for me. You name it, Atkins diet, there's a diet for every name. In a nutshell, turns out, all diet works as long as it puts you on a caloric deficit. When this is happening, then you will lose weight. No doubt about it. So it's that straightforward, okay? You notice I keep reminding the word over and over again because at the end of the day, it's simple ideas. It's you stick back to the basics. When you understand all these basics, or should I say, if you fail to understand the basics, then you have only yourself to blame for refusing to acknowledge the basics, right? So if someone sells you a product, you eat it, you don't lose weight, to be frank, it's his fault also for lying to you, but it's also your fault for not doing your homework. It's a two-party fault, right? So now that you understand how calories work, let's bring you up to another tier. Now the most bottom, remember there's a pyramid here. The bottom tier is calorie. The second most important tier is called nutrients, right? So the nutrients, there's two ways. One is called macronutrient, also known as the bigger nutrient, and then you have a micronutrient, which is like the smaller nutrient. So which one is more important? Obviously, if your goal is to improve your body composition, this after that you understand calories, the next thing you want to know is on the macronutrient. So macronutrient has three basic nutrients. The first one is protein. So protein is what does protein does? It helps you to build muscle, repair any damaged tissue, and so on. Number two is carbs. Carbs, what is that called? Carbs are a source of energy. Yeah, source of energy is a fuel, the body's preferred fuel, if you will. right? So, and last one is source of fat. Fat basically is help you to improve your skin pigment. For ladies, hormonal menstrual cycles, you need a bit of fat. They are responsible for that. Okay, so now you hear people say carbs are bad. Actually, what do they mean? It's not carbs have a knife or they're evil or they have some emotions. Carbs, protein, fats, nutrients are not emotion. Humans have emotions, right? So, meaning, people say carbs are bad. What they're trying to say is, if I overeat my carbs, I will gain weight. Of course, because you go back to just now, the calorie rule is that if you overeat whatever your calorie content you are supposed to eat, your maintenance calories, if you overeat your maintenance calories, you will gain weight. It is that simple. So if you say carbs are bad, what they mean is actually, I get fat because I eat a lot of carbs. Of course, you can overeat anything as you are on a caloric surplus, not a deficit, you will gain weight. It's that simple. Okay, most people overlook this. Okay, so now that we go back to the channel just now, so just now we talked about the nutrients, macronutrients. So macronutrient has protein, carbs, and fat, right? Now, how much protein should you eat? Most people ask, right? Now, or maybe we take a step back again. So someone will going to tell you, oh, don't eat protein because protein is bad for your kidneys. A lot of bodybuilders eat a lot of protein, in case you don't know. A lot of weightlifters or even athletes, they have a lot of high protein because they need the muscles to do, right? The chances of one having, what is that called? Having a kidney problem is very rare. In fact, the paper that you want to say that, oh, there are evidence someone died because of kidney, there is a disorder. It's not because of it's because of the protein, but it's not because it's some sort of disorder. It's like a genetic, it's like 1 out in a million, if I'm not mistaken. Right? It's very rare, in other words. So you don't need to be worried about that. Okay, I eat a lot of protein, or at least what the public says. I don't have any kidney problem. My kidneys are fine. I don't have any poop problem, right? I can go to the toilet problem. So you should not have that problem as well. Now we talk about how much protein you should eat. I think a good place to start, if I were to draw a circle on your plate, let me just hold on. Let me just do this. So let's pretend, right, this is a plate, right? When you have a plate, you want around like maybe 1/3 of your plate, so 1/3, 1/3 of your plate have some sort of protein, okay? So 1/3 of protein, 1/3 is on the plate. But if you ask me honestly, I think most people can do half a plate of the protein. I know this plate is very small, I wish I had a bigger plate, but I don't have. So you want like a half plate of protein, followed by another, among these half of them is a protein, half of them is a carbohydrate. Carbohydrate as in plain carbohydrates. Plain means what? Plain means you go white rice instead of fried rice. Go for wholemeal bread instead of white bread. Examples, these are examples, right? Now, then the last portion you want to put is a handful of vegetables. So imagine you're having a dinner, right? You should look something, what kind of balanced meal is. There is a chicken, for example. Then there is maybe a cup of rice, white rice, and then there's some handful of vegetables, right? By doing this, you are not only practicing an example of healthy eating, you're having example of healthy eating. At the same time, if you eat healthily every single time like this, by default, I am very sure you will be on a caloric deficit. Cut down your junk foods. It's just those simple things. Less snacking. Have less sauce on your calorie. If every time you go out and eat and you expect why you cannot lose weight, it's no surprise. Because the vendor that you go doesn't care whether you want to lose weight or not. The vendor there just care whether their food is delicious and they want profit from you, right? So it's those, you have to understand, you can't just what I call shoot on the fly. Meaning, you cannot just like, oh, today I feel like eating at, I don't know, Akyong coffee shop. Then tomorrow I go eat at Mama. Next day I have McDonald's. Try to find the least calorie and work something out of it. This is a recipe for disaster as well. Yes, calories is important, but you need to understand, you need the nutrients as well. You need to have high protein. The portion I showed you was a sample. A lot of people tell me they have high protein. When I look at high protein, the food is not only not enough as our protein. To make things even worse, they the choices is just, sorry to say, is highly processed, very low in nutrients, very high in calorie. This is a recipe for disaster. For example, if you come and tell me your protein sources today is chicken, only to find out you are having chicken nuggets, for example, then you are really kidding yourself. I don't want to be like a dietitian and tell you, oh, this is not the wrong thing to do. You go and do yourself. Like, who are you kidding for real? You know, or you tell yourself, I eat, let's say carbs, right? We emphasize you eat plain carbs, and then you have fried noodles, and then you say, oh, this is carbs. You know, mission say I should have a bit of carbs. Like, who are you kidding? That's why I say keyword plain carbohydrates, right? Don't have too much, don't over season too much sauce of the choices of food you make. Okay, so another example, if you come and tell me your source of protein today for your meal is chicken, but you go and have deep fried chicken, for example, instead of a steamed chicken or a stir fried chicken, you go and have fried chicken, the breaded fried chicken, like what you have at fast food restaurants, and then you come and tell me that is the what is that called, the protein source for the day. You are not wrong, but it also comes in high protein and high fat. So if you want to go is to reduce calorie, because why? Because if you want to lose weight, you need to be on a caloric deficit. Therefore, it is more advisable for you to not say avoid, but try not to make it too frequent, right? Keep all these things as low as you can. Don't, if every meal you want to have curry this, curry that, it's nothing wrong with curry, but the way curries are cooked outside, you look how it's cooked, you will know what I'm talking about. It's a lot of oil, they cook until the oil are split, then they put coconut milk inside. And remember, you cannot blame the vendor. If you make the food, you can blame yourself, but if other people make the food, you cannot blame other people, because other people don't care whether, like the auntie at the street. The auntie at the street doesn't care whether you are trying to lose weight or not. It only wants to make the food delicious for you so that it's worth your money. You have to see her point of view. So don't go and tell me to blame the auntie at the street. Those are, sorry to say, those are excuses. You find a way, okay? Learn how to make your own meal, create a version of whatever that you see at the street. These are some viable options. So now that you know protein, carbs and fat, you play a big role. The next upper one tier is called the micronutrients. Micronutrients means anything other than protein, carbs and fat. For example, vitamin A, vitamin B, fiber, some will debate fiber, minerals, sodium, potassium, magnesium, calcium, vitamin A, D, E, K, and so on. Now, macronutrients is, I would say macronutrient is more important than micronutrient, because if you eat quite a reasonable, I would say if you eat quite a reasonable food quality of macronutrients, the protein, carbs and fat, by default, you will have a bit of micronutrients already. For example, if you eat eggs, right, whether it's hard boiled, soft boiled, your choice. When you have the eggs, the egg yolk, usually people will tell you, oh, it's bad. Again, food doesn't have emotion. There is no such thing as good and bad. Egg yolk, do you know, inside has vitamins A, D, E, and K. So if you throw that out away, you are losing some micronutrients, which is the vitamins that we talk about. So it's good you have a reasonable food, having some sort of, like say, whole food. Don't have processed food. Avoid junk food. Keep it to a very, very minimum. Minimum means like 5 to 10%, that's it. And make sure your food are all whole food, high in fiber, high in protein. Check out the cooking method. Just doing these simple things can go very far. In fact, I have a lot of clients who lose weight without even learn how to tracking calories or counting how many calories. They didn't. They just do some food choices. Like example, I used today one example. I'm not going to mention name, but she used to go to at the street at the nasi lemak store, right? So she will order some food that she likes, right? So instead of the auntie, like I said, who does not know whether you're trying to lose weight or not, they will just cook. But this time she made a change. She go and prepare her own food, the same dish, some rice dish. she make her own food, she went to the supermarket, she buy the food, she make her own thing, and then by that default she will reduce her calories there already, because you'll be more conscious. You can control the oil, you can control the seasoning, you can control the calories. What simply put is the calories that is inside. So you can use all these ideas. It's just basics or common sense. So when you want to do your own diet plan, you can also do. First of all, you have to ask yourself, how can you reduce your calorie? Right? If your goal is for weight loss, so if your goal is weight loss, how can you reduce your calorie? Check around your surroundings. Do you have junk food at home? Do you have snacks at home? Or in the office, are you surrounded by a lot of junk food? If your answer is yes, try to eliminate that. Then when you go out and eat, have lunch or have dinner or have your breakfast, check out the food. How is it being prepared? Is it deep fried? Is it highly seasoned? There's a lot of sauce. You want to reduce here a bit like that. Then you don't need to take the expenses of reducing your food calorie via food volume. Meaning your volume, you still can eat very full, you still feel on the go, there's energy, and you don't feel like crap. Okay? So if you want to see results, do as the following as I say. You'll find, you just take a look at surroundings, do simple things like just eat whole food, a high source of protein, some sort of plain carbohydrate, and some handful of vegetables. That's about it. Fruits and vegetables. Repeat it 3 to 4 times in a day. You should be able to see results at least in a month or 2. Just be very consistent. Alright? Meaning there's no on or off switch. Once you on it, just keep it on and on and on. That's it. Alright? Don't tell yourself like, today I eat like this, today is Tuesday, I eat very good, Wednesday you're still okay, and then Thursday, Friday is just junk food all the way. Now, don't have that mentality, right? Now, if you want to be successful, it's being consistent. Now, notice I said consistent, I didn't say perfect. Meaning, yes, you did not hear it wrong. You still can have some fun food once in a while. So, how frequent or how much is once in a while? I'll give you an example. Some people use this 80-20 rule, but for me, for your safety's sake, I would prefer it 90-20, meaning your entire day, 90% should come from whole food, no processed food, all those junk food and all those nonsense. It's high calorie, low in nutrient. Simply put it this way, that is not your place to go. But you can always have 10% of that fun food. 10% is actually not a lot, meaning like entire day today, you probably can only have like 1 donut, 1 ice cream, something like this, half a slice of cake, 1 or 2 kueh, and that's about it. There's no such thing as screw this is not my thing, diet starts on Monday. If you have the all-in or nothing mentality, you will not go very far. I am very sorry to tell you. You are going to end up how all these common dieters will do. They will do as this is a failed common dieter starter pack. Okay? They're going to eat very clean. They will cut down the calorie as low as possible. They're going to make themselves very miserable. And then when they come to the weekend, they have a cheat meal. And then they'll overeat their calorie. And then repeat. Okay? A second common starter pack of a failed dieter is they will they'll eat very, very restrictive. Okay? Very restrictive. They feel like crap. And when it comes to the weekend, they still eat very good. But then, once example, a friend's birthday, bring the cake, they're like, oh, diet starts tomorrow. Then they just pound, instead of having 1 slice of cake, they have, or a donut example, colleague bringing one box of donut. You have 1, then you have 2, the next thing you know, you eat half a dozen of the donut. So this is called uncontrolled, we call this binge eating actually. That means you cannot control, you keep on binging. Now, if you have this problem, I recommend you to take a step back, evaluate yourself, and try to start small. Have the 10% quota time to time. Remember, the goal is not to be perfect, it is to be consistent. Now, I'll give you an analogy, for example, so you can understand. When, let's say, if you drive your car, right? Your car has 1 tire punctured, so your car is slow moving with the plug inside. Do you try to find a way to move the car to go to the nearest petrol station? Or do you say, you know what, screw this, because my car cannot move, I might as well burst the other 3 tires. You obviously don't go and burst the other 3 tires, right? You will still try to limp your way to the petrol station and ask for help. So diet is the same. However, most people when it comes to diet, they will just burst all 4 tires. They don't want to save that 1 tire. They don't want to save the 3 tire. Just because of 1 tire, they think they are wasted. Do not have this mentality. If you want to have this mentality, fine. But if you don't get results, you can only blame yourself, right? So start small, do all these simple things. Having a very, very plain healthy meal. Healthy meal will consist of high protein of diet, some sort of low plain carbohydrates, and some sort of handful of vegetables and fruits. Just keep it plain simple. If someone says carbs are bad for you, then ask them. People who are vegetarian, they are some of the highest carb consumption in the world, right? You look at vegetarian, it's usually some rice. Vegetables are carbs, in case you don't know. They have a lot of vegetables, a lot of carbs. They are quite healthy people. In fact, arguably, some of the healthiest person in the world. So if you say carbs are bad, they should die earlier than us, way before us. Obviously, that is not always the case. So there is something to think about. You can't just label one food and say it's bad. Label one food is good. No, remember, food doesn't have emotion. Human got good and bad. Food doesn't have good and bad. The goal is eat to your purpose. Whatever your purpose is, if your goal is for fat loss, you will lose weight. So if your goal is fat loss, you want to lose weight, you need to reduce your calorie. If your vice versa, if you want to gain muscle, you want to gain weight, then it's not eating everything you want. You follow the same approach for the weight loss friends that I told you just now. You have a high protein diet, you have some sort of fruits and vegetables, and you have some sort of plain carbohydrates, but your carbohydrates will be a little bit more, maybe 10%, your vegetables have it more 20-30%. Doing this slowly and gradually, you will be able to increase your weight if your goal is to gain muscle. So always remember that your goal is fat loss, caloric deficit. Your goal is to gain weight, caloric surplus. Now we talk about weight loss, what you need to do, caloric deficit. How to reduce caloric deficit? Find your food choices, slowly work from there and try to be consistent. What about weight gain? I have heard countless of people tell me, no matter how I eat, I also cannot gain weight. Of course, let me give you an example. If you drive a car, let's say you are a sports car. If you drive a sports car and you put diesel into your sports car, and then you wonder, hey, how come my sports car cannot move? Of course, because you used the wrong fuel. So, same if your goal is to build muscle, to gain some size. What do you need to do? You need to be on a caloric surplus. You need to increase your protein intake and probably a little bit more carbohydrate than you think, right? Of course, what does fat loss and weight gain has in common? These are the common 2 things. Number 1, they have to do it consistent. Number 2, you need to understand how to make calories work in your favor. If your weight loss, caloric deficit. If you want to gain weight, caloric surplus, gaining weight, meaning. And they will all stick to some sort of certain basics. They will eat some sort of, you will hear me say this a billion times again, you will eat a high, rich source of protein, followed by some sort of plain carbohydrates and some sort of vegetables/fruits. Except if you're gaining weight, you want to eat a bit more. If your goal is fat loss, you eat a little bit lesser or change the food choices so that you can reduce the calories, but not suffering the volume of the food. Okay? So how you want to make your own diet? If you follow these principles that I share with you, boy oh boy, you don't even need to worry any diet on the internet. You can make your own diet. I am passing this knowledge to you. Okay? Why? Because I think a lot of people fall into the trap. They try to do, you see it on the internet, eat this 6 food, don't eat this 4 food, eat only this 7 food, do these 5 things, don't do these 7 things. You have seen this in the internet before, and I'm getting more and more sick and tired of it, because a lot of people are falling into this trap. A lot of my clients, when I first started with them, they come from those kind of background, right? But if you understand the context, you won't get fooled by it, and you will be more alert. So next time someone tell you, hey, come and drink, have this fat loss pill, it's going to make you lose fat. Well, you understand already. What causes fat loss? Caloric deficit. If the pill really causes you to on a caloric deficit, if you're on a caloric deficit, you don't even need the pill, right? The pill are a waste of money. You can do it without the pill, right? The pill just happen to tumpang, if you will, on your weight loss program, and that's about it. If it's like I say, if it's true the fat loss pill really work, then number one, you don't need to worry about diet. Just keep eating the pill, boom, you're gonna lose weight, right? You don't need to take care because the pill, quote unquote, solve the problem, right? Why when you eat the fat loss pill, people still tell you, watch your diet, exercise. If it's quite irony, these salespeople will tell you this, right? If it really works, you don't need to worry. And number two, if that thing really works, I will not be here telling you what to do. I will be selling you that product because when I was fat, I also want to find that product, and I tell you, unfortunately, I could not find it to date. Alright, so and number three, if this product like slimming program or slimming pills or this meals replacement really work, we could have solved Malaysia's obesity problem long time ago. But you look at stats, it's getting scarier and scarier. Obesity rate is on the rise. In fact, I believe we are one of the highest among Asia. So this is no accident. Sugar tax have been increasing, sugar consumption has been lesser, and we are still gaining weight. Why? Is it really because of sugar, or is it because of caloric surplus? Because most caloric dense food, aka high in calorie, low in nutrients food, by default most of them has some sort of sugar and highly seasoned. So this one will give you some points. So you see, it's actually all related one, right? So so I guess that's it. Okay. So the moral story is understand caloric deficit, caloric balance, calories in, calories out. Then understand macronutrients, understand micronutrients. When you master these three, the next two the nutrient timing or supplements and others are the least of your importance. You should be mastering the bottom three, especially the calories and the macronutrients. If you do these two very well, to be frank, it's hard to not see results, right? You don't need to track calories, but you just want to find a way to reduce calories here and there by your food choices, right? So if you have any questions, feel free to drop a question, drop it in the comments, or you can talk to me personally, or you can drop me a message. I will get back to you. And I guess I'll see you on Thursday, right? So Thursday, what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a workout from home, probably a bit different. I'm going to do some stretching, how you can do stretching using household items, alright? So once again, thank you so much for joining, and I'll catch you on the next episode, right? Till then, bye bye.